October 30th, 2025, the day Diddy's world flipped upside down. He finally got shipped off to Fort Dix, the very prison his legal team fought for. CBS News even dropped his intake photo, gray hair, drained eyes, and a face that screams exhaustion. Now, leaked footage is exposing what's really going down behind those walls. 5 a.m. wake-ups, endless laundry shifts for just 23 cents an hour, and cramped dorm life with 8 other inmates. This was the transfer that didn't just move him, it changed everything.
Sean Diddy Combs was transferred to the federal prison at Fort Dix, New Jersey yesterday, where he will start to serve the rest of his 50-month sentence.
After spending 13 long months locked up inside Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, Diddy had no choice but to watch his empire collapse right before his eyes. Since that shocking September 2024 arrest, he'd been waiting for this one thing, the transfer his legal team had been begging for. His attorney, Tenny Garagos, even wrote to the judge pushing for a facility that could help Diddy face his drug issues, giving more family visits and actually focus on rehabilitation. Fort Dix seemed perfect, just 75 miles south of New York City, way closer to family than that nightmare in Brooklyn ever was. MDC Brooklyn, as described by those who've been inside, was nothing short of horrible. Fort Dix, on the other hand, was supposed to be the upgrade, the biggest federal prison in the entire country. We're talking 4,100 male inmates in total, 3,900 in the main facility and another 200 at the satellite minimum security camp. But now, CBS News has something exclusive that's got everyone talking. Right after Diddy's arrival, his intake photo told a story his lawyers never wanted out. Gray hair spreading fast, eyes heavy with exhaustion, that dull prison uniform fitting him like a reminder that fame doesn't mean freedom. The reality hit hard. But here's the twist most people don't realize. Fort Dix doesn't even have traditional prison cells. Fort Dix runs like no other. The entire place is set up with open dorm-style housing, not private cells. The facility was once a set of military barracks, revamped back in 1992, but it still feels like something out of another era. Some dorms are tight, holding just 12 inmates, 6 bunk beds squeezed into every corner, while others are massive, open bays with up to 100 men packed together in one shared space. Imagine that, 100 men trying to survive, sleep, and stay sane in the same room. Publicist Judah Engelmeyer confirmed it. Diddy's living with 8 other inmates, no special treatment, no VIP privileges, just another face in the crowd. The same man who once had personal assistants fetching his water bottles is now stuck waiting in line for the bathroom. Every single morning at 5 a.m. sharp, the fluorescent lights blast through the dorms. There's no such thing as sleeping in. Inmates rush to throw on their uniforms, line up for the mandatory head count, and start the day whether they like it or not. By 6 a.m., it's time for breakfast, bland, mass-produced prison food that couldn't be further from his old luxury lifestyle. No private chef, no fancy spreads, just a tray of whatever's being served that morning, eating shoulder to shoulder with everyone else. Complaints? They go nowhere. Most of the time, they're completely ignored. After breakfast, the grind kicks in. Work assignments begin, and everyone's buzzing about 2 spots in particular, the laundry room hustle and the chapel library gig.
Clip obtained by TMZ, the disgraced rapper could be seen taking off his blue jacket and scarf while chatting with another inmate at the prison's media library in the chapel. Combs was reportedly getting ready to begin his work shift, which consists of giving movies and religious materials to other inmates.
TMZ dropped the footage, and it's something no one expected to see. Diddy knee-deep in prison chores. He's caught sorting inmate uniforms, washing piles of linens, and working those heavy-duty industrial dryers packed with garments. Every federal inmate has to work, no way around it. And the irony? It's hitting hard for anyone who remembers him flexing in luxury designer brands and rocking $1,000 fits. One comment online nailed it.
Diddy once paid people to wash his sneakers. Now he's scrubbing floors for free.
But that's not all. CBS News revealed his second gig inside Fort Dix, working in the chapel library. There, he's distributing movies to other inmates and handling religious materials. And get this, it's actually considered one of the better jobs in the prison. It's calmer than the laundry chaos, definitely easier than kitchen duty, and it even comes with perks like a small air-conditioned office. His publicist tried spinning it, calling the position warm, respectful, and rewarding. They made it sound almost peaceful, but the truth, he's just doing what he's told. No choices, no say in anything. Work runs straight through to 4 p.m., with guards running head counts 5 or 6 times a day. That means constant interruptions, no real break, just a routine that grinds you down day after day until exhaustion takes over. When the evening hits, the little bit of freedom inmates get is limited. Some hit the prison yard, others play on the basketball courts or walk laps around the track. There's a TV room too, but it's got basic channels and zero internet access. Phone calls are tightly monitored, every word possibly recorded. And even those calls got Diddy in trouble. CBS News reported he violated prison rules after making a 3-way call on November 3rd. They said Diddy was on that call talking with his legal team about putting out a statement for the New York Times, but that one conversation cost him big. He got slapped with 90 days without phone or commissary privileges. His publicist rushed to clear things up, claiming the call wasn't started by Sean himself, saying it was actually his lawyers who initiated it, and that it should have been protected under attorney-client confidentiality. Still, the punishment stuck. But here's where things get strange. On November 12th, his release date quietly got pushed back. It moved from May 8th, 2028 to June 4th, 2028 with no explanation at all. Nobody knows why, and officials aren't saying a word. Meanwhile, life rolls on. Meals are served 3 times a day in the prison dining hall, but according to former inmates, the food is nothing short of rough. They say it's often expired, tasteless, and far from anything you'd call fresh or gourmet. No special diets either, unless you've got a medical note to back it up. Inmates joke that you learn fast to appreciate anything that doesn't taste like cardboard. At least there's the commissary, the one place where they can buy a few extras, snacks, hygiene supplies, basic clothes. But prices, sky high. Everything is marked up, and with just a $320 monthly limit from outside funds, everyone has to ration what they spend real quick. By 10 p.m., it's lights out. The dorms start to settle, but not really. 100 men packed into those open bays means noise all night. Snoring, whispers, random shouts. It's never truly quiet, never peaceful. And before you even blink, the next day starts at 5 a.m. all over again. Remember that publicist calling the place warm and respectful? Former inmates tell a completely different story. One man who spent 17 months there between 2019 and 2020 told reporters something chilling.
I was there a day and a half. This is not a jail. This is an insane asylum.
Joe Giudice from the Real Housewives in New Jersey knows Fort Dix all too well. He spent 41 months there and didn't hold back when talking about Diddy's future. He told reporters that everything depends on how he carries himself inside. If he stays low-key, respects the flow, and doesn't try to play the superstar role, he'll get by just fine. Then Joe dropped the real gem.
I've seen people get stabbed over an onion. You ain't in there with the most stable people.
They say the federal prison is low security, but Diddy's longtime lawyer, Mark Garagos, previously told Harvey on Two Angry Men podcast that Diddy will have a target on his back wherever he ends up.
He'd probably get a nice job and be able to function normally just like he was on the outside. Giudice didn't stop there. He said the nights inside Fort Dix have a whole different vibe. He claimed he'd wake up around 3 or 4 in the morning to hit the bathroom and see things that would make anyone's jaw drop. According to him, there were people doing things you'd never expect to see in a federal prison. And the wildest part, the guards would supposedly know all about it. He said they'd hear the showers running late at night, but just look the other way, pretending nothing was happening. Another former inmate backed it up, describing conditions that completely shatter any of that positive image people try to paint about the place.
There's one bathroom per floor with toilets and showers, and everything is broken. A lot of the food is expired. It's horrible. They don't care.
But here's where things get real interesting. Money still talks even behind bars. Giudice spilled that inmates with cash can pay for special hookups, getting their shoes shined, clothes tailored, even private chefs whipping up better meals than the standard prison slop. He said that's just how it is, like it's an open secret everyone inside already knows. Still, No matter what perks he might afford, it's nothing close to the luxury life he once had outside those prison walls. That world is long gone. Former inmate and prison reform advocate Tyler King said visits are treated like sacred moments, but they're heavily controlled and constantly monitored. Every second is watched, every movement counted.
You get one hug at the start, one at the end. Everything in between must be proper. Handhold too long, and your visit ends immediately.
Diddy's 7 kids have stayed loyal through it all, still posting birthday love and tributes for their dad on social media. Whether they've actually made the trip to Fort Dix yet, though, nobody knows for sure. The holidays inside bring a whole new kind of struggle. Former inmate Tyler King explained that sometimes a special meal shows up and sometimes it doesn't. It all depends on the day and who's in charge. This past Thanksgiving, Fort Dix's big feast was barely that. Inmates got a choice between deli meat sandwiches or plain peanut butter and jelly. Christmas lunch wasn't much better, with baked Cornish hen, a scoop of mashed potatoes, some fruit, and a simple dessert to top it off. Nothing even close to the over-the-top holiday spreads Diddy used to host in his mansion days. Still, his families kept their support strong. All 7 of his kids sent heartfelt birthday posts when he turned 56 in early November.
We love you. We miss you. Happy birthday to the best dad ever.
His twin daughters shared touching words online, but even with their love, the truth is harsh. They're living their lives and the world keeps spinning without them. Diddy's official release date now sits at June 4th, 2028, though with time off for good behavior, that could shrink to around 22 to 24 months, maybe even less if he lands a halfway house placement for the final stretch. His legal team isn't slowing down either. They filed an expedited appeal in November, with the hearing set for April 2026. He's got one of the strongest appellate teams money can buy, and sources say he's in good hands. But none of that changes the cold reality inside. Every single morning at 5 a.m. sharp, the lights blast on and the grind starts all over again. He clocks into work like every other inmate, and every night he climbs back into that same bunk surrounded by strangers. The man who once ruled the music world now lives by a prison schedule, reduced to a number and a date that feels miles away. But here's the thing, the daily routine is only half the story. To really understand what life at Fort Dix feels like, you've got to hear it from someone who lived it right beside him. On December 23rd, just 2 days before Christmas, former NBA player Sebastian Telfair finally walked out of Fort Dix a free man. His kids were waiting outside, and the relief on his face said it all. But what everyone wanted to know wasn't just about his release, it was about his cellmate, the most famous inmate in the whole facility, Sean "Diddy" Combs. Hours after his release, Telfair sat down with TMZ for his first interview, and he didn't hold anything back. For Telfair, who once lit up NBA courts for a decade, the fall was brutal. From private jets and packed arenas to 5 a.m. wake-ups in cold concrete dorms. He admitted it straight. Prison life hit hard. But when he started talking about Diddy, that's when things got really interesting.
I couldn't imagine how Diddy felt.
Telfair painted the picture perfectly. From luxury penthouses to cold prison cells. From private jets to clunky prison buses. From bad boy records to federal custody. The contrast couldn't be more extreme. But even after that massive downfall, Telfair said Diddy hasn't completely broken down. Despite the shock, the loss, and the humiliation, he's holding himself together in a way most people wouldn't expect.
Judge Aaron said he wouldn't recommend Fort Dix, but he would recommend a Northeast facility. The only problem was, why did he get sent by Fort Dix? It's not because he did anything special. It's not because they took pity on him. It's because, right? Because he had a shorter sentence.
And that wasn't just talk. Telfair had seen it all with his own eyes. He was living right there in the same facility, walking the same cracked yards, eating the same bland meals, and following the same tight routine day after day. He watched Diddy up close, a man forced to survive in a world where fame means nothing and money can't buy a single ounce of comfort. What stood out to Telfair was how Diddy handled it. Calm under pressure, following every rule, keeping his head down, and showing real discipline when everything around him was designed to break him. Telfair also mentioned Fort Dix's RDAP, the Residential Drug Abuse Program, a treatment initiative that could actually shave time off Diddy's sentence if he completes it. He wasn't judging him, he was just keeping it real. Everyone had seen the lifestyle before, the wild parties, the excess, the chaos that became the heart of the prosecution's case. The drugs, the power plays, the control, the manipulation, it all come crashing down once those cell doors closed. Inside prison, that fast-paced life hit a full stop. No more luxury, no entourage, no endless parties, just cold walls and time to think. And maybe Telfair suggested that forced pause was exactly what Diddy needed, a hard reset on a life that had been spinning out of control for way too long.
This is what kills me about the prison system. They know. Because these people, if you're doing life in jail, you got life, man.
Prison became something deeper, a kind of forced reflection, a place where time slows down just enough to make you face yourself, think hard, and maybe even start to heal. It's not the kind of perspective people usually talk about when it comes to prison life, but coming from someone who just lived it, it actually makes sense.
I couldn't imagine how Diddy felt, but Diddy's holding it down. He's doing what he's got to do. Diddy was living a rock star life, so I'm glad he's going to get the time to just relax. Diddy's in good spirits. He's still Diddy.
That simple line, "Diddy's still Diddy," carried serious weight. Not because it excused anything he's done, but because it exposed something real about who a person is when everything's stripped away. Prison doesn't rewrite your identity, it tests it. It takes away the fame, the money, the image, all the flash, and what's left is the raw core of who you really are. Telfair said Diddy was still holding his own, in good spirits, not broken, not lost, and definitely not defeated. He wasn't walking around depressed or falling apart. Instead, he still had that same spark, that same confidence that once made him a mogul. The only difference now, though, he's rocking olive green prison clothes instead of tailored designer suits, but the attitude underneath hasn't changed one bit.
These first photos of Diddy at the Fort Dix Federal Correctional Institution in South Jersey surfaced on TMZ over the weekend. In one, Diddy is smiling in his gray knit cap, looking happy and relaxed.
This wasn't the version of Diddy anyone expected to see. Not the shattered mogul the tabloids tried to sell, but a man learning how to survive in a brand new world. He's adapting to a harsh routine, finding structure in the chaos, and rediscovering pieces of his own humanity in one of the most unexpected places imaginable. Telfair talked about meeting good people inside, not just Diddy, but men from every kind of background, each carrying their own stories and regrets. Some were first-timers, some long-timers, but all of them shared the same space, the same grind, and somehow built bonds that couldn't exist anywhere else. The contrast between their past lives and their current reality was shocking, yet strangely unifying. For Telfair, freedom came early, December 23rd instead of December 26th, a small but powerful Christmas miracle for his family waiting outside those gates. But for Diddy, things look different. He's expected to serve most, if not all, of his sentence. Different crimes, different outcomes, but the same daily life. The same plain food, the same crowded dorms, the same 5 a.m. wake-ups. Fort Dix isn't like MDC Brooklyn, where Diddy first started out. That was maximum security, cold and isolating, filled with danger and tension. Fort Dix, on the other hand, is minimum security, offering a bit more movement, better programs, and a focus on rehabilitation. It's the exact place Diddy's legal team fought for, chosen for its structure, its calmer environment, and its closeness to family for those rare visitation days.
A federal judge this afternoon has approved their appeal of the verdict to be heard as early as next spring. They want both charges dropped, claiming the law was mistakenly applied to his case.
The RDAP program that Telfair mentioned could be a total game changer for Diddy. In the federal system, completing a residential drug abuse program can actually cut up to 12 months off an inmate's sentence. And for someone looking at roughly 50 months behind bars, that's a massive difference. It's not just a rehab course, it's one of the few real ways to earn time back and show progress toward change. Telfair's own path to Fort Dix had its twist too. His return wasn't from a new crime, but from slipping up on the terms of his supervised release. After pleading guilty to healthcare fraud in 2023, he initially got probation, 3 years of supervised release, and community service. But when he missed check-ins and skipped out on his service hours, those small mistakes stacked up fast. By August 2024, the judge had enough and sent him back, 6 months at Fort Dix. His original release was supposed to be February 2025, but thanks to good behavior, he walked out early.
Were you aware that you were going to come home 2 days before Christmas?
No, I thought I was going to come home 2 days after Christmas.
Okay.
And then, you know, God always doing what he do for me, so.
That healthcare fraud case wasn't small, it was huge. 18 former NBA players got caught up in the same scheme, all accused of filing fake medical claims through the NBA's health and welfare plan. We're talking about billing for dental work that never happened and medical procedures that were completely made up. The total losses hit around $4 million, and it didn't take long for the feds to come knocking because federal investigators don't miss financial crimes on that scale. Indictments dropped in October 2021, and at first, Telfair tried to fight it, but eventually he had to face the truth. By 2023, he took a plea deal, one that at the time seemed surprisingly lenient, but when he slipped up and violated the terms later, that leniency disappeared instantly. Now, freshly released and looking ahead, Telfair's got something new to share, and people are paying attention.
You're going back to the NBA to do like some kind of work there. Have you had any offers from anyone in the NBA asking you to come back and do some kind of work there?
Well, I just signed with a new agent. How Kimberly, how you doing?
I know that's right.
So
you got a new agent.
I got a new agent. I'm going to be playing in the Big Three.
The Big Three League, Ice Cube's bold 3-on-3 basketball venture, gave former NBA players like Telfair a second shot at glory. It was his chance to step back onto the court, show the world he still had it, and maybe even snag that MVP title. The league thrives on redemption stories, and Telfair's comeback fit the script perfectly. A man rebuilding his name after losing it all. Meanwhile, back inside Fort Dix, Diddy's story was still unfolding fast. His legal team wasn't letting up. They were fighting hard. On December 23rd, the exact same day Telfair walked free, Diddy's attorneys filed an emergency appeal against his 50-month sentence. The timing couldn't have been more symbolic. One man walking out, another still fighting for his shot at freedom.
Defendants typically get sentenced to less than 15 months for these offenses. Even when coercion, which the jury didn't find here, is involved, he sits in prison today serving a 50-month sentence because the district judge acted as a 13th juror.
Diddy's defense team came out swinging, arguing that his 50-month sentence was way too harsh. They pointed out that most Mann Act convictions usually lead to around 15 months or less, not more than 4 years behind bars. His lawyers claimed the judge overstepped big time, acting like a 13th juror by weighing evidence that went beyond what the jury actually decided. In the appeal, they didn't hold back, calling the whole thing a perversion of justice. But when legal analysts weighed in, most weren't convinced. They said the argument sounded desperate and unlikely to sway the higher court.
Alicia, always great to be on with you. Let's be very frank about this case. You can't unsee what you saw, you can't unhear what you heard, and you can't unremember what you read. And it's clear that that judge took certain things in consideration that were part of the evidence, and it is permitted under the Mann Act.
The defense switched tactics and tried a totally different angle, claiming that the recorded encounters were nothing criminal at all, but actually amateur content between consenting adults, supposedly protected by the First Amendment. They argued it was about expression, not exploitation. But that line of reasoning didn't land well, not with prosecutors, not with analysts, and definitely not with the public. Most agreed the argument stretched credibility so far it practically snapped.
This departure from what should have been imposed on Sean Combs, they're also arguing, which is a real stretch, that these freak-offs and these hotel encounters were really amateur-free. It's going to be a real stretch to get to overturn that sentencing, especially when you look at the guidelines on itself under the Mann Act. It's between 70 and 80 months. The judge gave 50 months here. So this type of these arguments, frankly, if I looked at my crystal ball, it's going to fail.
Federal
In reality, the federal sentencing guidelines for Mann Act violations fall between 70 and 80 months, meaning Diddy actually got off lighter than most. His 50-month sentence was already below the standard range, so while his team cried unfair, the truth painted a different picture. The judge wasn't being harsh at all. In fact, many legal experts said the judge showed restraint, not overreach, when handing down that sentence.
His defense team really feels that there is a problem with the Mann Act. You can certainly lobby against that act and have it rendered unconstitutional, but it's historically sound, it's constitutional, nothing's been overturned.
The odds of that appeal going anywhere? Almost zero. Legal insiders say the Mann Act has stood strong for decades and remains fully constitutional. Every step in Diddy's case, from the charges to the sentencing, followed proper legal procedure, all by the book. So despite the noise from his defense team, the chances of overturning that decision look slim to none.
That's him, that's Diddy, and they chatted it up for a second. He said Diddy's holding it down, he's doing what he gotta do, and where he's at, they're going to help him. He clarified that Diddy had previously been living a rock star life.
Telfair's public support for Diddy might not mean much in a legal sense, but on a human level, it hits deep. He reminded people to see Diddy not as the headlines of the scandal, but as a person, stripped of titles, fame, and power, because prison does exactly that. It tears away everything external, the money, the luxury, the name, until all that's left is who you really are. According to someone who's been right there beside him, Diddy's managing to do exactly that. Then came a major development. November 2025, Sean Diddy Combs officially enrolled in a program that could truly change everything. Not just his release date, but maybe even his life. It's called the Residential Drug Abuse Treatment Program at Fort Dix, a 9 to 12-month deep dive into therapy and self-reflection. It's intense cognitive behavioral treatment built around a community that forces inmates to confront their demons head-on, the same ones that landed them there in the first place.
Fort Dix is a minimum security facility. He's not in general population, but in a special housing area for inmates in drug treatment programs.
The incentives are massive, too big to ignore. If you complete the RDAP program, you can earn up to a full year off your sentence. For Diddy, that means he could be walking out by May 2027 instead of May 2028. 12 extra months of freedom on the outside. That's not just a reward, it's a lifeline. But here's what most people don't realize. RDAP isn't some easy check-the-box kind of deal. It's the Bureau of Prisons' toughest, most demanding treatment program, built around a modified therapeutic community approach. Inmates go through daily therapy circles, constant group discussions, written self-reflections, and accountability drills that push you to face yourself completely. You can't fake your way through it, not so long. His publicist confirmed Diddy's enrollment with carefully chosen words, keeping it professional and tight-lipped.
Committed to sobriety, focused on healing.
The PR team might have been working overtime to make Diddy's enrollment sound clean and polished, but documents obtained by CBS News told a totally different story. They revealed how he actually qualified for the RDAP program during trial, and it wasn't luck. Diddy's attorney, Taney Garagas, made a crucial admission. She confirmed documented substance abuse issues within 12 months before his arrest. That single statement opened the door wide for RDAP eligibility. Without that detail, there would be no entry into the program. And without the program, there'd be no shot at a sentence reduction. Looking back, the legal strategy makes perfect sense, but getting qualified doesn't automatically mean you're in. Thousands of inmates across the federal system are stuck waiting for a slot. You need at least 24 months left on your sentence to even apply, and every candidate gets thoroughly vetted by drug abuse program coordinators who comb through records, verify substance history, and check every piece of documentation before giving approval. Then comes the hard part, the wait. Joe Giudice, who's been through Fort Dix himself, didn't sugarcoat it when he spoke about that list. He said straight up that Diddy didn't just stroll into the program like it was handed to him. Plenty of people have been waiting their turn. But somehow, between his celebrity name and some sharp legal maneuvering, the path cleared faster than it usually does.
Well, everybody's different. I'm sure he went back was somewhat disappointed, so he's probably, dwelling on that. Hey, it could have been differently. Maybe I should have gotten out. Maybe he's a little bit upset, a little bit angry. I get it. All those emotions come into play. But right now, he's got to get ready.
From the very start, Diddy's lawyers had one specific request: Fort Dix. They included it directly in their sentencing recommendations, hoping to secure that exact placement. Judge Subramanian initially pushed back, making it clear that defendants don't get to pick their own prison. Normally, the Bureau of Prisons decides where inmates go, not the court. But somehow, Diddy still landed exactly where his team wanted him. The plan worked, and their strategy paid off big time. Once inside, the RDAP program unfolds in 3 tough, structured phases. Phase 1 kicks off in a dedicated residential unit, fully separated from the general population. It's all about immersion, daily group therapy sessions, one-on-one counseling, cognitive behavioral training, and relapse prevention exercises. It's intense, mentally draining, and completely hands-on. By the end of Phase 1, you earn a certificate of completion, but don't get it twisted, that's only the beginning. Phase 2 transitions inmates back toward the larger prison environment while keeping therapy at the core. You start mixing more with the general population, slowly reintegrating, while still following every single rule to the letter. There's zero room for mistakes. One infraction, one failed drug test, one bad report, and you're out. All that work, gone. Even with a certificate in hand, it means nothing unless you complete all 3 phases successfully. Prison consultant Christopher Zukis explained it clearly. The time reduction RDAP offers is huge for federal inmates. A full year off a 50-month sentence is no small thing. That's real time, real freedom, and a massive incentive. But the catch? The program's brutal, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Only the truly committed make it through.
I think 3 factors that sort of work together to create a perfect storm. The first is chronic understaffing. So the jail is routinely operating daily.
Inside Fort Dix, the RDAP program runs deep. It's not just therapy, it's emotional excavation. Every day, inmates sit in group circles where vulnerability isn't optional. You gotta open up, sharing personal stories, exposing your flaws, admitting to addictions, and facing the root causes of your choices without dodging blame. There's no hiding behind fame, money, or a polished image, and definitely no PR team to step in and smooth things over. The therapeutic community model strips away every wall a person builds around themselves. RDAP participants live together in a separate housing unit, forming a tight, structured environment focused on recovery and accountability. Everyone supports one another while also holding each other responsible. No free passes, no shortcuts. The schedule runs like clockwork. Half the day in therapy, half the day on work duty. Diddy's been assigned to the chapel library, balancing his daily counseling sessions with his prison job. The structure is designed to keep hands busy and minds sharp. No room for idleness, no time to spiral. But here's where Diddy's story starts to get messy. Just 4 days after arriving at Fort Dix on November 3rd, he got flagged for violating prison phone rules. According to official records, he made a 3-way call, which is strictly banned under Bureau of Prisons policy. The report claims he called an unidentified woman to discuss bringing 200 singles for a visiting weekend, then allegedly looped in another person, described only as a digital contact, to talk about blogs. Prison officials didn't take it lightly. They hit him with 90 days without phone access and 90 days without commissary privileges. The penalty was filed on his 56th birthday, making the timing sting even more. His publicist tried to spin it, insisting the call was actually a routine attorney-client communication, initiated by his lawyer and fully protected. But according to the disciplinary report, Diddy claimed he never received the official prison handbook that outlines phone rules, an excuse the Bureau didn't buy. Then things escalated. TMZ dropped another bombshell, reporting that Diddy got caught drinking homemade alcohol, prison hooch or pruno, made from fermented fruit. That's another major violation in federal custody. His team immediately denied the claims, jumping onto his X account, formerly Twitter, to post about becoming the best version of himself, clearly trying to get ahead of the headlines. The damage control machine was running full speed. Former warden Dwayne Hendricks didn't hold back when speaking on the situation. He said if Diddy really wants to succeed in RDAP and earn that sentence reduction, he'll have to prove he can handle prison life the right way. That means showing solid institutional adjustment, keeping a clean record, following every order, and proving real dedication to the process. Without that, RDAP won't just be tough, it'll be out of reach.
4 years, 5 years is 5 years, 4 years and 2 months rather. Right, because there is 14 months time served. So you're looking at about maybe 3 years?
Getting accepted into RDAP is one thing. Finishing it is another story entirely. The program demands flawless conduct, full cooperation, and a spotless record. Inmates have to follow every staff direction without argument or hesitation. But Diddy's already tripped up twice since his enrollment, and that's raising eyebrows. Within just weeks, those slip-ups are people questioning whether he's truly committed to change or just playing the system to shave time off his sentence. Then came Judge Mathis, who didn't hold back his thoughts on the whole situation. He said the defense completely missed a major point during sentencing: Diddy's mental health. Mathis reminded everyone that Diddy himself admitted to being bipolar, which means he needs more than just talk therapy. He needs real treatment, medication, and consistent professional supervision. The judge argued that this kind of mandatory chemical stabilization should have been part of the sentencing from day one, not left up to choice or convenience.
And as such, the sentence should have also included it. The judge should have required him to obtain treatment as part of his sentence.
Judge Mathis's take shines a light on what many believe is the true purpose of programs like RDAP, real rehabilitation, not just punishment. It's designed to dig deep, forcing inmates to confront addiction at the root, not just the symptoms. Through cognitive behavioral therapy, participants learn new ways to think, react, and cope with stress. Relapse prevention training gives them the tools to face life outside without falling back into old habits. And life skills development helps them rebuild structure and responsibility so they can function as productive citizens again. But here's where the debate heats up. People are skeptical about Diddy's sincerity. Can someone really change after decades of the same behavior? After years of using money, fame, and influence to dodge accountability, is this finally genuine growth or just another calculated move to cut time off his sentence? Maybe, just maybe, both can be true at once.
Do you accept responsibility for the violation of the law? And he has not said it.
Specifically said it out of the gate.
Yes.
I don't want to let God down. I have no one to blame but myself. I know I will never put my hands on another person again.
The therapeutic community model behind RDAP doesn't let anyone hide. It forces participants to face hard truths, including the ones they'd rather ignore. Living day to day with others who've completely hit rock bottom strips away all pretense. Peer accountability runs deep. If someone starts acting fake or manipulative, the other inmates call it out immediately. The vulnerability required to stay in the program is intense, and that's exactly why so many don't make it to the end. They can't handle the emotional honesty it demands. There's also a long list of ways to get kicked out: getting caught with contraband, breaking any prison rule, failing a drug test, skipping therapy sessions, or even slacking off during group work. One disciplinary report can undo months of progress. The bar is intentionally set high. RDAP isn't supposed to be some easy shortcut to early release. It's meant to rebuild your mindset completely, forcing you to look at addiction, behavior, and consequences through a new lens. Right now, Diddy's already walking a tightrope. His earlier phone call violation alone shows a lack of respect for the rules, according to sources familiar with the case. And the alleged alcohol incident, if it's proven true, could deal a serious blow to his eligibility. Prison officials are watching every move he makes now. One more slip, and his shot at RDAP and that one-year sentence reduction could disappear in an instant.
A history of good works can't wash away the record in this case. You abuse these women. You use that abuse to get your way, freak-offs and hotel nights. The evidence of the abuse is massive. I was sitting right here during the testimony.
Even once Diddy finishes his sentence, the system doesn't just let go. RDAP's post-release supervision extends its reach far beyond the prison walls. He's facing 5 years of supervised release, complete with mandatory check-ins with probation officers, random drug testing that could go on indefinitely, and strict travel limits. He can't leave his jurisdiction without official approval. The monitoring doesn't stop at the prison gates. It just changes form. So what would successful completion of RDAP actually look like? It means finishing all 3 phases of the program, earning that 1-year reduction, staying sober through every single day of incarceration, and avoiding any new violations. But beyond the checklist, it's about real personal transformation, genuine reflection, mental growth, and learning how to live differently. If he manages that, Diddy could walk out by May 2027 instead of May 2028, a full year early, free to reunite with his family and start rebuilding his life. But the flip side is brutal. If he gets kicked out of RDAP, loses eligibility, or racks up more violations, he'll serve the entire 50 months with no early release in sight. That means the May 2028 date stays locked in. No exceptions, no favors. The stakes couldn't be higher. Every move he makes, every choice, every reaction behind those walls now determines how and when he gets his second chance.
He arrived at Fort Dix prison in New Jersey last week, and tonight we're getting a look at him interacting with other inmates.
All right, Fox 5's Lisa Evers joins us now with the very latest and interesting image we got to see today.
The debate rages on. Is Diddy's push for RDAP pure rehabilitation or smart strategy? Cynics say every move he's making is calculated, just another play for a lighter sentence. But believers see something different. A man genuinely trying to change, maybe for the first time in decades. And maybe, just maybe, both sides have a point. The hope of shaving a year off might be what got him through the door. But once inside, the process itself could spark real change. Sometimes survival and transformation walk the same line, and Diddy's journey might be proof of that.
They made me sit in the cell and take every braid out of my hair before I was let into population.
I mean, for somebody like who's a billionaire beforehand, somebody like Diddy, it must be.
Fort Dix's therapeutic community doesn't care who you are or what name you built. It tears down every excuse, every rationalization, every wall you've spent years hiding behind. Inside those daily therapy circles, vulnerability isn't optional, it's demanded. No amount of money can buy your way out of facing yourself. Group counseling forces raw honesty, and peer accountability keeps everyone in check. The other inmates, they're not impressed by fame or status. They see straight through the celebrity mask. In that room, Diddy's not a mogul. He's just another man confronting his truth.
The judge did say earlier you have not expressed remorse for the Mann Act violations.
He's now showing that remorse.
Well, he's also, no. You got to address that directly.
The transporting of
the
prostitutes.
You got to say, I should never have done what I did by hiring.
And if Diddy actually makes it through, sober, self-aware, and truly changed, then RDAP will once again prove its real power. Not because Diddy deserves redemption more than anyone else, but because when people commit to the process, it works. The program's purpose isn't about fame, sympathy, or second chances for the rich. It's about transformation. Addiction treatment saves lives, cuts down on relapse, and gives people the tools to rebuild instead of repeat their mistakes. True rehabilitation doesn't just help the individual, it helps society as a whole, far more than locking someone away ever could.
So where are we now? You know, we're looking at 50 months, which is less than what the prosecution wanted, which is less than what the sentencing guidelines were. So the judge even came in below that. And so if in light of everything that he was facing from the very beginning, even to now, it's really a good deal for him.
The residential drug abuse treatment program isn't Diddy's get-out-of-jail-free card. It's his last real shot at rewriting his story. This is his chance to become more than just another cautionary tale, to show that even the most powerful, privileged, and protected can hit rock bottom, face their demons head-on, and start clawing their way back toward the light. May 2027 or May 2028, that's the line between redemption and regret, transformation or manipulation, hope or cynicism. Every single day inside Fort Dix's RDAP unit pushes him closer to one of those outcomes, and the clock is ticking fast. What happens next is entirely up to him. If you've been following this story, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on Diddy's road to redemption. And don't miss the next Street Signal video coming soon.